So normally, I'm completely apolitical. I don't post political messages on my channel. I avoid it like the plague. But it's come to a head that several of you are suffering because of political decisions, and I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not. I'm going to say this. There are people now, anyone who's transgender in the military, apparently yesterday just lost their military career. So if anything can be said about that, it's just not right. But I'm actually going to do you one better. I have a soldier who's a subscriber of mine and a very, very loyal fan, who's currently deployed overseas. And I'm going to ask him some questions real quick. He's going to get to say whatever he wants about those questions. I want to emphasize this is not pre-written, this is not rehearsed. I literally asked him the 3 questions and let him answer however he wanted. Let's take it away. So, I have with me a friend of mine, Bones. He's going to identify himself, and I do have one very important question for him as soon as he does. So, Bones? I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. The specialist, Michael Hollowell. I'm with the Kansas National Guard, DOD number 15017177602.
And so you mentioned this morning. A couple of other people have brought it up to me about the transgender military ban, and I was just curious, do you honestly care who's in the foxhole next to you so long as they can use their rifle and fight?
No, not really. That in a foxhole, everyone's equal. There's no difference.
And so do you have anything you want to say to the people who are transgender who may very well be kicked out of the military because of this decision?
You don't deserve it. You don't. You do not deserve to be getting shafted any more than the rest of us do.
Okay. And anything you want to add? Anything you want to pose a question to me, or anything you want to say, or get off your chest? Up to you.
No, nothing that I'm sure you're not already going to say in your video.
All right. Thank you, Bones. I'll let you see the video before it goes live. If you want any edits done, let me know. And in the meantime, we'll resume the rest of the video. The other thing I wanted to bring up after that, pointing out that soldiers don't care, is House rejects measures to pay workers while government is not open. For those of you who haven't been paying particularly heavy attention, we're now on day 33 of a government shutdown. Now I'm going to point out it's the 23rd of January, which means that if you work for the U.S. federal government and you're not in the armed services, you have not been paid. Let's scroll this back. So that's 3, 4. You haven't been paid since the 21st. They didn't even get paid for Christmas. They haven't been paid since the 21st of December. Now, what I am going to say is anyone who you know who is either transgender in the military or works for the federal government, call them and let them know you care, and offer some help. Even if it's just like, you're going to spot them $5 so they can get gas, or $20 so they can go to the grocery store. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit of, hey, pick me up. And this includes stuff like TSA workers and the Postal Service. They're not paid. They're doing their job. They still show up and do their job, but they receive no money. FBI agents, like the list, there's a huge list of these. So that's the short term thing to do is either talk to, if you know someone who's transgender in the military, go give them a hug, talk to them, figure out other career options for them until this ban is lifted and they can return to art and they can return to their service. Or if you are their CO, figure out a way to keep them. I know the military is usually rank and file, but I've been through basic training. I've been through most of my ATI, and I went to my specialist school before they removed me. I know there's ways around the rules. So if you're their CO, figure out a way to keep them. They'll do more for you than you realize, and they will fight tooth and nail to keep their job. In the meantime, the other thing is just support the people who are currently on day 33. By the time this comes out, I think it's day 34. Yeah, this came out yesterday. By the time this video comes out or you see it, it's probably Thursday, and it's day 34. Who haven't been paid. They have not received a paycheck. I am set up where if my job shut down tomorrow for some reason, I have enough money to make it 10 weeks. It took years to set that up, but I can make it 10 weeks, no questions asked. Most people can't do that. They're not set up that way. They're thinking about college funds for their kids or retirement or just day-to-day expenses that nearly exceed their paychecks anyway. So please, reach out and see what you can do for them. The long-term solution here for you guys to remember is there's two websites. This is senate.gov/legislative/votes. This is a government-run website where I can come on here and I can see who showed up to vote, and I can see who voted for what. And you can pull this up on your smartphones, guys. So go register to vote. I know there's no major voting coming up anytime soon, but if you're already if you're registered and you make sure that you have all your documentation, if you require some special documentation, you're good. Now all you have to do is just go do it on the day, and there's apps on your phone that you can set to remind you of when voting takes place. That you'll actually have like reminders. There's apps that do that now. The other website is governmenttrack.us. Both of these are linked in the description below. And you can, again, check every single motion, bill, act, everything that is passed or rejected. You can see who rejected it, you can see who passed it, and you can see who didn't cast a vote. So when you go to the poll, don't vote all one party. Like, that's my biggest advice. Don't vote all one party. Because that's letting someone else decide for you what's best for you. Take some time. You have all the time in the world. You have all the time you need in that voting booth. They're not going to force you out of that voting booth unless you've taken like a couple hours. And all you do is just sit here on your phone and just look up the people you're voting for and make sure they have your best interests at heart. Whatever those best interests are up to you. If you want to vote to ban transgender people from the military, that's fine. That's up to you. It's your decision. But if you want to vote for, I don't know, to have guns that shoot balloons, and there's a guy who's doing that, well, you need to know about that. And you have government websites, government-run websites. .us and .gov are run by U.S. government. These are government-run websites that tell you what's going on. And it takes you less than a minute to search for a specific bill or a piece of legislation that you want to know about. That you want to know who voted and how they voted. And all it does is just take a click and there you go. You know who voted and how they voted. And then you can see what the bill is. You can see who nominated it, what's going on. You can read the full text, whole 9 yards. It's your responsibility to make sure you know who you're voting for. And I'm just asking you guys, reach out to those people who are being affected by the shutdown, who who are being affected by the transgender military ban that's been reinstated. It was removed and reinstated. These are people who go fight for you overseas, who often sign 10 or 20-year contracts because the military will pay for all of the transgender stuff, and then they have a soldier or whatever their position in the military is, a desk clerk or what have you, for 20 years, guaranteed to have this person. These people have given up the rest of their lives to go defend you. Just reach out and give them a hug and try to figure out an option for them to either stay in the military that doesn't hurt them, or figure out a way to get them back into civilian life in a way that they will be productive and happy. And again, if you know someone who's affected by the shutdown, call them. Call them and ask what you can do. If it's mow their lawn, if it's drive them to the store, whatever, call them and just figure out how you can help them. I guarantee you'll be better friends with them afterwards. Again, normally I remain completely apolitical. You'll notice this video has no links on it whatsoever. But these are the things that you should be doing now, not come October 2020 when it's time to vote the federal government again. And remember, every time that a vote comes up, you should just, it doesn't take that long. I've done it myself repeatedly. It took me 4 minutes from the time I got to the polls, got out of my car, and I was in a voting booth. And from there, I'm just sitting there on my phone for like half an hour, just checking all of the people I'm voting for to make sure I still wanted to vote for them at that point. That's all you're doing. It's just this for half an hour just to make sure that the people who are going to make decisions about you and your friends and how the law works and how your lives work and everything are not going against your best interest, and that you didn't vote for someone in power who is now hurting you. And if you did, you can fix it next time. So there you go, guys. That's what I have to say today. I was going to make a review, but this came up last night, and I sat there and comforted some friends for most of the night and most of this morning. Different people, not just one or two, but like 5 or 6 different people between these two major issues. And when my small channel has 5 or 6 people coming to me in 24 hours for comfort and advice and stuff like that, I know that there's a larger whole here that's just being absolutely run over. Something like 340,000 people. That's a full % of our population in the United States. So 1 out of 100. You guarantee you know somebody affected by the shutdown. Almost guaranteed you know somebody who's currently working who isn't getting paid. But that's what I have to say, guys. I'll see you guys tonight for Fallout Equestria at, what, 9 p.m.? Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, everybody, please have a good day, and please reach out and take care of your friends.